Outside the Box Reviews, we are taking a look at the NECA Pacific Rim. I think we're on wave 5 now, and this is one of the Jaegers. This is Tacit Ronin. Tacit Ronin is barely seen in the movie. He's mostly just a cameo in the opening kind of explanation of the world, but NECA has turned that brief cameo into a very, very cool looking figure. I'm going to say right up front here that I think NECA has seriously stepped up their design work on these Jaeger figures, both in the sculpt and the paint, and this wave may be my favorite wave yet. Tacit Ronin reminds me a lot of something you'd see in the Gundam anime series. It just kind of has that very Japanese look. It is a Japanese Jaeger, so it makes sense, but we have this kind of beaky, weird looking head on it with some nice orange paint apps, but there's some very subtle, tiny paint apps in there as well. There's some gold right there in the crease, but a very odd looking head shape. I think I'm also thinking Gundam because these little wing kind of ears coming up. Around the head, we can see the nice silver of the body, some little jets or something going on back there, some more fins coming off the side. There's a lot of great detail on the back of the figure. There's a nice kind of gunmetal gray with kind of a brushed effect on it, making it look like it's a worn metal. Coming into the body of this Jaeger itself, I don't know if it's going to translate on camera, but there is a glitter metallic effect going inside this white paint all over him. So it actually shimmers in the light as you move it, which is really, really cool looking. It gives it a very, very realistic effect, making it look a lot more metallic. And they've given it a nice kind of dry brushing dirt and grime effect to it as well. So it's definitely a very well used Jaeger. It's got all kinds of just gunk on it. Not actual battle damage, but just enough to make it look like it's been in service for years and years. You've got these little marks on the side. I assume these are little guns or something. The underside of its very triangular looking stomach. Some more vents down there. It's got a large kind of pod up here at the top of the arm with some more vents on it. A very mechanical looking elbow. Then we have the arm itself. Here on his right hand he has a fist, so you can see the fingers curled in. And on his left side he has an open hand. And then here on the side of each arm he has what I believe is called the Fang Blade. So it slides out in 2 stages. First stage is about that far. Then we get the second stage. You have to be a little rough with it to get it all the way out, but when you're done, you can see the end of the second stage is actually a little past the white here, so you know you've got it fully extended. But a very nice looking blade, very cool, nice gray with some more brushed effect to make it look like it's worn. Just very sinister looking, and it seems like NECA loves their figures with retractable blades, and I don't blame them. This is pretty cool. Coming down here to the hips, we've got some complex stuff going on here. If you look in here, there are 4 kind of cylinders going on. Turning around to the back, you see a little better. It's all different joints and pistons mixing together. There's even some wires coming up as a soft rubber material going up to the hips. The legs themselves are pretty skinny on this figure, so not a whole lot of thickness to them, but some more great detailing, some markings, and just continuing that great paint scheme down there. Mechanical knee, more mechanisms coming out the back of the leg, kind of a guard over the foot itself, and then the foot looking really cool, this kind of triangular shape, which is more great metal detailing in there. For articulation, he has a surprising amount. The head's on a ball joint. It'll look up decently as well as down. Side to side's not a problem at all, and you also can do some tilt. The arms are a little hard to maneuver. There's a hinge at the shoulder so you can move in and out, and you can also rotate that joint, but it is very, very stiff. It has kind of a ratcheting effect going on, so I'd be pretty careful with this joint. He can swivel at the upper bicep, as well as bend a really nice range at the elbow, past 90 degrees, which is great. The hand is on a swivel. You can also swivel at the waist, but is a little hindered. You can only kind of move back and forth just a little bit. The legs are also hindered, a little hard to move in and out with all those mechanisms in there, but they look great, so it's kind of hard to complain. Side to side even's a little hard as well. We do have an awesome double jointed knee, which is a little hard to activate both mechanisms because you can't fully extend both joints, but it really does move very well and gives you a great range of motion. And then these feet, I thought these were going to be very limited, but they actually have a great ball joint in them, and you can get a pivot out of them and swivel and all that good stuff. So actually a great range on the feet, and we do have peg holes at the bottom if you want to stabilize them a little better. And I absolutely love this Jaeger. If I had to pick one thing out I liked best, it is that white paint. Looking at the little shimmery reflectiveness of it and comparing it and contrasting contrasting it to that dark gray with the metal dry brushing on it just really makes this figure pop for me, makes it feel real. And having this figure in hand, it just looks more metallic and more like a real giant robot for a 8-inch tall action figure than any of the others NECA has made thus far. And I am so thoroughly impressed with the job they've done on it. So this guy gets a very high recommend. Now I will say this, be very careful with the joints. A lot of them feel stiff, especially when I first got the figure out of the package, and probably want to apply some hot air or hot water to the joint for a little bit and be able to loosen it up and break it in and get it moving before you try forcing the joint and just try to, move the arm when it doesn't want to move. But as long as you're patient with it, I think this is going to be a very cool addition to your Jaeger collection, even if it's not a very major character. Make sure you check me out on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, this has been the Outside the Box Reviews. Stay tuned for more to come.